Hello and welcome to the visualization. So I was just watching some videos of pelicans swallowing pigeons, and eventually my most recent video I watched was, or the most recent video I watched was a guy feeding a pigeon to an eagle in like a backyard looking area, like in a village. And I have to compare that, or I don't know how to say it, but I have to compare that to my recent suspension of monetization by YouTube. YouTube is selective about who they allow to represent what. They are very favorable to news stations, documentary, news station YouTube channels, documentary YouTube channels, No Jumper, DJ Vlad, Comedy Central, Key and Peele, as far as what they're representing, and all the rappers. Specifically, my monetization of the suspension of my monetization basically means, I don't know if it's a permanent suspension, but it basically means I'm no longer able to become a YouTube partner. I'm not really sure if that's true. And I don't know if it's a permanent suspension, but the reason for the suspension was because I titled a live stream recently, "Haha, 9/11 happened, jump, Al-Qaeda won, Osama bin Laden was a hero." And I've done this in the past. I would like to sue them for taking down one or two of my past videos, specifically one for sure. I think even a second one, and recently they removed two. They went back, I think we're going on 4 or 5 total videos that they've taken down. Recently, just like 2 days ago, they took down a live stream, which was a role play of me role playing in Grand Theft Auto 5 online as ISIS. And, I'm using hashtags like ISIS, Islamic State maybe. And of course, those hashtags are relevant on YouTube. They have, hundreds, if not thousands, tens of thousands of channels with using those hashtags. And that hashtag, hashtag ISIS, hashtag Al-Qaeda, those have, like I said, several, hundreds, if not thousands or tens of thousands of channels using them. But there's a specific number on YouTube that shows you not only the channels, but how many videos include that hashtag or something like that. But anyways, so they're going into my history from a year or two ago, 3 years ago, to take down my content illegally, unlawfully. And so I say all that to say, if YouTube, or here's another point. Japan is not much different than Al-Qaeda. 1941, 2,600 people died at Pearl Harbor. 60 years later, 9/11, 2001, 3,000 people died. Not much of a difference there. So if YouTube is going to be unfavorable to Al-Qaeda, but favorable to Japan, that's unlawful. And furthermore, you're hypocrites, YouTube, Google, because like I said, I say all that to say, you're allowing No Jumper and DJ Vlad to represent and promote criminality, gangbanging, and domestic terrorism / warfare. You're allowing documentary channels to represent ISIS, Al-Qaeda. You're allowing news stations to represent ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, etc. And you're allowing a lot of animal abuse videos in the regard of, I don't know. However, I'm not gonna be pro-vegan about the situation, because, feeding a frog, a mouse, I don't know, seems casual. But, live feedings, animals eating other animals in front of people. Let's say people are at some sort of a national park or something, and, an animal is taken advantage of, or somebody forces an animal to take advantage of another animal, stuff like that. this is promoted and published to YouTube. So YouTube, if you're going to label my recent live stream as a policy violation under violent criminal organization, you should probably analyze your entire platform and realize that you, in fact, are a violent criminal organization. America, in fact, is a violent criminal organization. You both need to back off, because I might be the key to World War III.